Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Ace Attorney Investigations. I'm your host Kayla Hiwatari, and today we're going to do the next ending part of Turnabout Ablaze. Let's get into it. March 15th, 2:11 a.m., featuring Neutralis Lobby. Man, it's going on forever! It's like the case never ends. Can't believe it, sir! Extraterritorial, yes, and there is nothing we can really do about that. In the end, we didn't have enough authority to bring him to justice. I can't believe that even though we know he's the boss, we can't lay a finger on him. I know. Hey, Mr. Prosecutor. Sorry to skip out on you, but I've got some business to take care of. Okay, bye, Lang. If we can't even give an evil guy like him a slap on the wrist, then what the heck were laws created for? What good are they? If the law can't help us, then I'll go with the Yatagarasu and take care of this myself. Don't you dare. Mr. Edgeworth! Sorry, that was a bit too harsh. I know you feel, sir. We're trying to take on an ambassador after all. And he did tell us earlier to get out of the theater. This is kind of their country, I guess. But I feel like I've been slapped across the face for just doing my job. What am I going to do? Should I retreat for now and formulate a better plan of attack? Yep. Come on, everyone, we can't give up yet. Okay. I want you to think about something for a sec. We've never let up for even a second, and as long as we don't stop investigating, we might find the rotten treasure hidden here. She's right. Come on, Mr. Edgeworth. Let's get to this. You're right, Kay. Very well. Let us reopen the investigation and see what we find. Come on, Kay. Right behind you, Mr. Edgeworth. Okay, then. I'll go check out the ball a bit more, sir. I have something that I need to investigate further in Alabasta. So long. Just you and me now, Kay. Now then. Before I gather any more information, I should do a bit of housekeeping. Passion flower data erased from my organizer. Begin investigation. Ambassador Elba seemed agitated over something. I wonder why. There are two special circumstances that surround the ambassador. First, the embassy itself has extraterritorial rights. If something happens on a bastion's soil, we are unable to legally prosecute it. Cool, it sounds like embassies are the perfect place to steal whatever you want. And Murder Damas too, run a smuggling operation and make your counterfeit bills apparently. But I thought all the counterfeiting was done by Mr. Cochin and Mabal. Yes, he apparently used the embassy's coupon printing press to do it. But it's the same story over there anyway. Babal also had extraterritorial rights. Which brings me to my next point, the ambassador's extraterritorial rights. Those rights are effective even in our own country. Really? No matter what happens, he can never be tried in our courts. He retains some very special rights indeed. Basically, no matter what wrongs he may commit, we can't bring him to trial here. So I guess we really don't stand a chance, do we? We might stand a chance if we can somehow nullify either one of his special rights. Let's try these two, shall we? Yeah! We know that the counterfeit bills were printed using the embassy's press, but the necessary materials such as the Bali's ink and paper must have been hidden in a secure location. But what do you think would have happened if the renovation had begun? Well, he probably had to find a better hiding place or get rid of it all. Right, so we can assume that the renovation was the cause of the plate and bill's disposal. And the reason Mr. Koshin was killed as the ringleader of the smuggling operation. Based on what we know, who do you think was the one with the most to gain? The gain was Alba. It's the one person who has been erasing all evidence of the smuggling operation. From both embassies, the co-conspirator who is mopping up Ambassador Alba. Ambassador Alba had a very strong motive to kill Manny Kochin. Let's put these two together. The cause of Ambassador Alba's agitation, the rod and treasure we may find, and the motive for killing Mr. Kochin. Miss Yu said it herself that she didn't kill anyone tonight. If we were to take her words at face value, then the reason for the ambassador's nervousness can only be one thing. He didn't want us to discover the real circumstances under which Mr. Kochin was killed. Then you mean Ambassador Alba is the real killer? But I thought the two of them were friends. Maybe they were, but what if Mr. Kochin was the one who first betrayed their friendship? Oh, I get it. Wasn't Mr. Kochin pushing really hard for Mr. Poleno to be ambassador after the reunification? Yes, and that was the real reason why he wanted to steal Alabas Primiduc statue. So Mr. Kochin hired Damas too to go steal it for him. But when Ambassador Alba found out what he was up to, he killed Mr. Kochin. It is definitely a possibility at this point. Those two really were thinking of no one but themselves. But the question now is, how did he do it? Ambassador Alba was in Alabast. But Mr. Kochin's body was discovered in Babal, right? Right. And that is what we must solve next. Okay, let's go to the Babal side if we can. What? You won't let me in. Hello, and welcome to the Embassy of Babal. I'm sorry, but I don't really need to enter your country at this time. Right now, for a limited time here at the Babali's Embassy, we're offering a very special Experience Terrifying Fires Ashes tour. So how about it? Shall I sign you up? We're fine, thanks. We have an investigation to run. I don't think I can get to the Alabas side. Nope. Well, I can try talking to him, but probably won't let me in. On the orders of Ambassador Alba, no one is allowed into Alabast. But I thought a lady with a whip passed through here not too long ago. She is from Interpol and had the proper paperwork. So while I was reluctant, I had to let her in. Sounds like Francisco, alright. Besides, if I didn't, that whip of hers, yes, definitely Francisco. Guess we examine out here then. This was taken just before the two ambassadors gave their bouquets to the Steel Samurai. Wait, is it just my imagination? Or is there something in this picture that I've seen before? Okay, examining picture time. It appears to be a bouquet of Persian mint and roses. Wow! You even know the exact species! I never would have figured you for an expert of flowers. Ugh. It's all because of those flowers that old lady sends me every month. Old bag sends him flowers. You can see the first case, there's a vase on his, in his office that you can see that's from Old Bag. Just look at the sound like some sort of botanist. So, what exactly is this yellow flower here? That one. I'm not sure. What? You don't know? As far as I can recall, I've never seen a flower like this before. But it feels as though I've seen this shape somewhere before. Okay, so we need to deduce it. The yellow flowers. Okay. So deduce the flowers. And then the evidence we have left that's flower related is the alabaster knife. The ball's national symbol is the butterfly and alabaster is the flower. It would appear that someone is employing the old hide a tree in a forest trick. What are you mumbling to yourself about? Wait, what? The handle on this knife? Ah! Yes, it's the handle that was supposed to be on the blade that killed Mr. Cochin. The weapon that killed him was carried through the Featrum Neutralis. In the very bouquet Ambassador Elba was carrying. Commemorative photo drawdown. The flower motif. It looks like one of the flower petals is missing. Ooh, and take a look at the weapon itself. It's missing the exact same petal. Then the knife in this photo. It most definitely is the same as the murder weapon. Bastion knife updated. I believe we now understand why Ambassador Elba was so nervous and agitated. It must have something to do with where Mr. Cochin was killed. A place where the Alabastrian ambassador was likely to meet the Babali's Mr. Cochin. The place where Ambassador Elba happened to have committed the murder is... guess the stage? Guess it's probably right here in the Featrum Neutralis then.
Take that!
The only place that makes sense is here, the Featrum Neutralis. What? Here? The Goodwill event was being held here today, correct? So the only place that the both of them would have been in is here. But if that's the case, then everything changes. This theater isn't actually Alabastrian land. So that wipes out one of those extraterritorial rights he has. It makes logical sense, in which case it is a reason for us to investigate further. So what should we check out? Let's see. I believe we should check the immigration records for both Alabasta and Babal post-haste. Babal's records should be easy to obtain, however the problem will be Alabast. I wonder if they would allow us to see their records despite the order to vacate. Francisca's back. I think she has what we need. I'm already one step ahead of you, Miles Edgeworth. Francisca. I have here the security footage from both Alabast and Babal. You would do well to take a look at its contents. Security footage, jot it down. You move fast, Francisca. Von Karma strives to be perfect in every way. It's not in my nature to keep on retreating like this. I took the liberty of looking over the Babal investigation reports as well. From now on, you will make no excuse to back down or say that we can't solve this case. You understand? I'm sorry about earlier. We won't be beaten. Because my cute little subordinate is going to try his very best, isn't he? Hasn't she patronized me enough already for a lifetime? Nope, she's gonna keep doing it because she's just loving that. So this video contains footage from Alabasta immigration screening area, does it? I really hope there's something in here that we can use. Let's check out the TV. I think we found something. Oh, right, I remember this part. Which minute's footage should I examine? I think I need the last one. Okay, so we're gonna do 5:23 p.m. I want to examine some of the Steel Samurai stuff. Doesn't something about this lump's shape strike you as odd? Huh? Isn't it supposed to be this shape? No, there's clearly something odd about the bulge. If only we had the pushcart itself, we could compare and confirm my hunch. Pushcart data jotted down. Yeah, that was what we needed. Next, let us check the footage from the ball's security camera. I hope it shows us something good. Okay. I'm not sure what it showed. Phooey! That wasn't a single sign of a suspicious person or anything! That right there is a contradiction. Huh? Did I miss something? You didn't miss anything, because there was nothing to miss. However, what is missing is the image of Mr. Cochin entering his own country. But wasn't his body found in Babal? It would appear that the true face of our final puzzle has finally revealed itself. Investigation complete! Yay! Oh, look, we got so much life back. Not all of it, but we got like half. So that's something. Uh-oh. Ambassador Elba. I thought I had asked for you and your group to vacate the premises, Mr. Edgeworth. Actually, I thought I should let you know that this theater sits on my country's soil. You've had your fun and I've enjoyed your little game. Our little game. I dare say that you've even achieved a new high score. However, once you've recorded a score, that same game can never be replayed again. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? Your game is done, and it's game over. No.
Objection!
Where do you think you're going? It's this time of night. After admitting to my crime, I was overcome with regret. So I'm heading to the airport now to return home. I'm afraid I can't let you do that. There are still too many issues we need to discuss with you. You can't stop me, Mr. Edgeworth, and you know it. Ugh. Hold it. Oh, that was Plano. Hold it. Please, may I have a little bit of your time, Ambassador Alba? Ambassador Poleno. Even just a teeny tiny bit is fine with me. The already strained relationship between our countries is in a precarious situation, you know? Very well. If you insist. I'll play just one more round with them and see what they want. Not that they'll get any farther. Ambassador Poleno. Mr. Edgeworth. All I wish for is the normalization of relationships between our two countries. There is one person standing in the way of that dream. I believe in you. You'll do what's right. Thank you for your vote of confidence. Now then, what was it you wanted to ask me about? I do have a flight to catch after all. So I'm afraid I'm going to have to limit you to just one question. That's more than enough, because I only have one question anyway. I want to hear your alibi about how you couldn't have killed Mr. Manny Cochin. Oh, I see. You seem to have a good hand this time around. This should be fun. This really is the very last chance we have to bring him down. I won't allow even an atom-sized contradiction to slip me by. Ambassador Alba's alibi. Frankly, I still don't understand why I am being placed under suspicion here. Under your hypothetical scenario, Mr. Cochin and I were fellow smugglers. But to get to the point, I was in Alabas the whole time. So it's simply not possible for me to have killed him in Babal. That is my alibi. So that is your alibi? That is correct. It's simply not possible for me to have committed a crime in Babal. Now that we've cleared that up, I'd appreciate it if you should move out of my way.
Hold it!
I said, hold it. What is it this time? But I told you I'd only allow one question. You did. But you still have yet to really answer my one question. What? Until you tell us the truth, I will refuse to budge an inch from where I'm standing. Very well. I'll play with you just a little longer. Miles Edgeworth, as my subordinate and representative of this country's prosecutors, you shall succeed or feel the wrath of my whip. You are forbidden to lose, as on the name of the Von Kamas. Cannot lose on the Von Kama name. Of course, it is something I've understood from the start. That guy's the one who ordered my father killed, isn't he? Yes, I believe so. The goal of the first Yatagarasu was to capture the smuggling ring's leader. My father and Uncle Bad, their legacy will live on through me. So that's why we've just got to catch him, okay? We will, I promise. Now, Ambassador Alba, let's have at the truth now, shall we? No matter how many times you ask, my answer remains the same. Now we get to do a rebuttal against him. Now we're gonna press for his statements. Hopefully I won't lose as much life this time. Sorry I've been so bad at this case. I don't really remember it that well. So, press everything! Being the leader of a smuggling ring will take on the duties of ambassadorship. Don't you think that the combination is more than enough reason for suspicion? Then there's the matter of the crossbow arrows and the primitive statues. All of that is nothing more than your flights of fancy. What do you mean by that?
Hold it!
It's not a hypothesis. Earlier we proved it to be what happened. Well, let's leave that to one side for now. Because it doesn't change the fact that I have no motive. Oh? So you really had no reason to kill Mr. Cochin? If you want to suppose I had one, then why not? I'll indulge you. After all, this is nothing more than a silly game to me. Even if that's how you see things, I'd appreciate it if you would take me seriously. I'm sorry, I suppose you're in a bit of a pickle. Very well, a game is no fun if the playing field isn't level. Therefore, I formally claim that I had no motive to kill. Now, let's see you disprove it. How can he stand there looking proud when he knows he killed another human being? Well, I'm not going to stand by and just watch him get away with his crimes. I'm gonna put him away for good.
Hold it!
Are you serious that just because you were partners that you had no motive to kill? I'm only following your hypothetical scenario to its logical conclusion. Looks like he's not going to admit it himself that he was in leagues with Mr. Cochin. I suppose not. But I do know his relation to the smuggling ring and to Mr. Cochin. You mean he's the ringleader and that Mr. Cochin was his subordinate, right? Correct, but I know more than just that. Miss Von Karma, I'm sure you remember the safe in Mr. Cochin's office, correct? Yes, of course I remember. That safe had 2 compartments to it, didn't it? Yes, and why do you think those stolen goods were being stored in Mr. Cochin's office? Could it be because he was trying to cheat Ambassador Elba behind his back? So Mr. Cochin didn't turn the goods over, but decided instead to keep them for himself? I suppose that's possible. It seems to me that both men were only concerned with their own wealth and well-being. Then that means that maybe they didn't have a trusting relationship after all. What Ambassador Elba had to gain? I believe that is his motive for killing Mr. Cochin. What are you people whispering about amongst yourselves over there? Ah, I'm sorry I've kept you waiting. Now then, let's continue with your testimony. Might have to present something on that statement, but we'll keep pressing for now. What exactly did you do while you were in Alabast? I had a meeting with the Steel Samurai, and then I arranged a few files. Around that time, that thief who was sneaking in took me by surprise. Are you saying that it was Damas 2 that made the first move? Yes, and it was after I was attacked that I hit him on the head with the Primaduck statue. Unfortunately, he died from the blow, but it was an act of justified self-defense. Calling it that doesn't cover up what you really did. Ha 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 ha. Cover up. No, my boy, I'm not covering up anything, I'm telling the truth. You weren't planning to admit to it, which is why you tried to frame the Steel Samurai. If you wanted an ambassador, I'd be letting my whip fly loose on you right now. I'm terribly sorry that I didn't mean clean up the body better, but I am a busy man. I had a speech to give in the Rose Garden after that, you know. Yet despite that, you still had time to kill Mr. Cochin, didn't you? Man is evil, and I'm sure you are familiar with the facts, but Mr. Cochin was killed in Babal while I was all the way in Alabast. You insist that it's not possible for you to have killed Mr. Cochin in Babal. And you are correct. Oh, I thought you would put up a bit more of a fight, but if you must concede to me... The only thing I am conceding is that it's not possible for you to kill him in Babal. I am not conceding that your alibi is the truth. Oh, I see. However, no matter how you try, know that you can't crush my alibi. You would be wise not to underestimate a prosecutor of this country. We'll see about that, boy. So Mr. Cochin was a friend of Ambassador Elba. If that's true, then why did the ambassador kill him? It's not like in the case of my father, where he ordered someone to do it. The problem we have here is we don't know what their exact relationship was. Indeed, if they had complete trust in each other, then there is no motive for murder. However, both men were very selfish, and I believe that is from where his motive arises. Here we go. It's not the best whole time. Actually, I'm gonna just go through these one more time. There are a few instances where you have to press things twice, so I'm just gonna go through these one more time, and then I'll be back to present evidence. Oh man, such a hard time on that. I had to do it off screen. So I was right in thinking about the third statement where he mentions his motive. That's the one we need to use. And we need to use the note on it. If you want to know, I believe you did have a motive to kill. It was because Mr. Cochin had betrayed you. But you had your own reason, too. Namely, you wanted to pin the smuggling all on him. Evil begets evil, and because you were trying to test each other, it turned into this mess. Don't believe this. You have a bad penchant for telling tall tales, Mr. Prosecutor. And if you're not, then I suppose you have some proof to support your argument. I never use guesswork in moving my cases forward. It has been proven that this note was written by Mr. Cochin's hand. Shall we take a look at it? contents of this note is a request calling for the theft of Alabaster Primidex statue. By killing him and pushing all of the guilt for the smuggling onto him, you walk away spotless. I believe you understand what I'm driving at. You had more than a few reasons to kill him. Hey, he gets his own voice. You finished with your hypothesizing? Excuse me? Let's suppose I did have a motive. Even so, a motive or a thought alone can't kill. Isn't that right? I didn't expect him to resort to playing the semantics game with me. It appears that this is where the real battle will begin. Now then, if you will excuse me. Wait. What? I told you all the very beginning, didn't I? You only got one question. Duh. Ambassador Elba, if you could please give us just a little bit more of your time. Oh wait, that's not Francesca. Mr. Elba, if you could please just give us a little bit more of your time. It doesn't matter what kind of man Manny was my subordinate. Which is why I would like for us to figure out the real cause of his death. That is something for Babal to figure out, and something to which I have no relation to. Now he's even turning down a request from Ambassador Palermo. I'm very sorry, but it seems that now even my voice falls on deaf ears. There is no need for you to apologize, Ambassador Palermo. We must find some way to stop him from leaving. Seems there are no further objections in that case. Please allow me to return home. Hold it. Okay. Hold it right there, Ambassador Elba. Okay. Like I said, Mr. Edgeworth, the Yatagarasu's legacy will live on through me. Yes, but how do you suggest we stop him from leaving? You just leave that to me. Ambassador Elba, do you recognize this? No, and why should I recognize that tattered old organizer? Wait, where have I seen that before? That's a clue my father, Byrne Faraday, left for us. Did you say Byrne Faraday? Mr. Faraday's organizer? Don't tell me this is the one from the second KG-8 incident. The one in which he wrote about the Yatagarasu's key. Yes, this organizer belonged to the prosecutor you had Miss Yu kill 7 years ago. I have no idea what you are talking about. Little girl, you say that like it was related to me. Inside this organizer, he wrote up every detail of every evil thing you did. An amusing little girl you are, but that sort of trickery won't work on me. If you won't believe me, then take a look at this. What is that toy there? This thievery device was used by the Yatagarasu, or rather, by my father. And it's my faithful companion, Little Thief. 7 years ago, he used this when he snuck into this embassy. What? These two pieces of evidence that hold information the Yatagarasu dug up on you. If you go home now, I won't hesitate to send it all to Alabast right behind you. Little girl, get to the point. I want you to go up against Mr. Edgeworth one more time. If you win, then I'll hand over these two pieces of evidence to you. Yatagarasu, ever the thorn in my side. Okay, does that organizer really contain any information on his dirty dealings? It's nothing case-breaking, really. Then it was just a bluff. Even if it was, we still can't let all the info my father and Uncle Bad found go to waste. Plus, just the existence of Little Thief is troublesome enough for him. Those two pieces, aren't they keepsakes of your father? It's okay. I believe in Mr. Edgeworth. He'll come out on top in the end. And he won't let me down, right, Mr. Edgeworth? Okay. When the going gets tough, someone's gotta be there to put the wind back in your sails. After all this time, you're still quite the feisty one. I applaud your powerful nature. Oh, Franny approves. Yeah! Go Franny. I refuse to lose this too. Ambassador Alba, you won't be returning home until you give us further testimony. Dare you all burn a person like me? Ambassador Alba, your testimony if you please. Ugh. Alright, but this is the absolute last. And even if you use all the power of Ambassador Poleno's office, you won't stop me. I can't let this opportunity Kay has created for me go to waste. Round 2, yeah! Let's do this. The last time I met with Mr. Cochin was here in the Vitrum Neutralis. After that, I was in Alabast, the rest of the time as I stated earlier. In any case, I did not see Mr. Cochin again after that. So you see, there is no time span in which I could have killed him. Wouldn't you agree? No, we don't agree, because you did it. Now, since you people were practically begging, I'll allow you to question me. What an arrogant old man! Yes, but no matter. We can't allow this chance to escape us. We'll warn you, though. You've reached the end of my patience. Waste my time with any inane questions, and you will be punished. Oh no, it's doing the penalty if you press the wrong statement thing. I hate that. So any needless pressing or presenting will cost more to our case. In that case, the only thing you can do is to present the correct evidence, understood? Of course, I don't intend to let him intimidate me. I know Mr. Cochin was killed before he returned to Babal. In which case, there is only one statement to which I need to present the evidence. I hate these. Anyway, it's time for the rebuttal, and we'll get into it once I find the right piece of evidence. Okay, finally found the right piece of evidence to use on him. I'm going to go to his very last statement about the time span, and use this picture. I'd like you to take a look at this picture. It's a rather nice picture, isn't it? It was to commemorate the restoration of relations between our nations. Oh, it's commemorative, all right. One that captures the proof I need to show that it was you who committed the murder. Come again. This is the knife that killed Mr. Cochin. I see you recognize it as well. You should, for it was you who brought it to this theater. You hid it amongst the flowers you were to give to the Steel Samurai, meaning that you killed Manny Cochin here at the theater. It's time for me to catch my flight. We're not through yet. It's game over for you, Mr. Edgeworth. But I thank you for the entertainment. Ugh. No matter how passionately you or it, the end result will still be the same. I won't be returning to this country ever again. That's right. This man is an ambassador, and he has extraterritorial rights. No matter how hard we chase after him, we won't be able to have him tried in courts. Yes, that's exactly the face you should be making. The face of a worthless cur. Ugh! No! Where's Lang? Come to the rescue, Lang! Oh, and ladies and gentlemen, I must bid you farewell. The courts. Is there no one who can lay a finger on this man? Is this really the end?
Not so fast.
Yeah, there he is. Go, Lang! Get him! Agent Lang, sorry to keep you waiting, Mr. Prosecutor. Get out of my way. My plane is scheduled to take off soon. Sorry, but you're not going anywhere, Alba. I'm through playing games with you people. You can't touch me. If you do, it would spark an international incident, Agent Lang. Sorry, but no, it wouldn't. What? Hey, Mr. Prosecutor. Good job holding the fort down here until I got back. So, Mr. Alba, your diplomatic immunity has just been revoked. What do you mean, revoked? Spare me this nonsense and let me through.
Not so fast.
Langzy says, before aiming for the throat, chew the neck shield off first. Interpol headquarters and the Imperial household of the Kingdom of Alabast took a while to get things rolling, but they finally moved on it. The Imperial household? What have you done? You have been relieved of your duties as ambassador, Mr. Alba. What? 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 Yeah, now we can get him. Effective today. Effective right now. And you have Mr. Prosecutor's videotape to thank for this. The video the Yatagarasu protected. You can't be arrested simply because you're an ambassador. In that case, I thought I'd strip you of that title. You underestimated me, a descendant of the founder of detainment philosophy, Langzy. 4,000 years of deeply entrenched connections and networks around the world have really paid off. Can't be. I don't believe this. My ambassadorship has been revoked. Looks like you're finally coming to grips with your new standing. Woohoo! Looks like he's turned docile again. He's probably in shock from the loss of his shield. What a shame. I had so wanted to use my whip on him. What is happening to me? I'm just a hard-working, honest ambassador. Do you really think you can still pull that on us now? We've already ripped away the mask and seen you for who you really are, Mr. Alba. Oh! No! Yeah. Still fighting him, though. It's not the end yet. No, I won't be stopped now. He still intends to fight us? So what if I'm no longer an ambassador? You still don't have any evidence on me. The fact remains that you cannot arrest me. Check. I'd expected no less from you, the boss of the smuggling ring. Well, the rest is up to you, Mr. Prosecutor. Understood. You say that I killed Mr. Cochin in the theater. But even if it's true that there was a knife in my bouquet, I left that bouquet in the theater. So anyone could have taken it out from there and used it, right? Besides, the claim that he was killed there itself is odd. After all, wasn't his body discovered in Babal? Are you claiming that I carried his body all the way over there? How preposterous. I'll be the one to prove whether it's preposterous or not. Ex-Ambassador Alba, are you ready? Because this is no game. This is war. Alright, let's get him. I'll buy part 3. Killed Mr. Cochin in this theater using a knife that was stuck in my bouquet. I left that bouquet in the theater. Anyone could have taken the knife from there. Besides, Mr. Cochin's body was discovered in Babal, right? There is no way for me to have transported his body from the theater to Babal. Look, don't you think you've had enough fun with me? You've already stolen my ambassadorship from me. Would you have me surrender too?
Not so fast.
You have no plans to ever return to the country, isn't that right? Did you know that a bunch of your subordinates are seeking asylum because of you? As if I care. Hey, Mr. Prosecutor, boot this guy out of the embassy and we can finally end everything. I know, and I will give it my all to see that he leaves in handcuffs. Without the title of ambassador, he's just another witness. Yes, just another witness to feel the wrath of my whip. All right, what are we waiting for? Let's get this guy and avenge my father. And get him good. I wonder if they understand that all I can do is present evidence to the testimony. Rebuttal time on this guy. Oh, man. It goes on forever. Alright. I want to try the last statement again, I think. There's no way for me to have transported his body. There we go. Let's try the pushcart.
Objection.
Wow, actually got one this time. It's easier than his other ones. Actually, I do believe there was a way to transport the body out of the theater. Perhaps you should give this a look. What is that supposed to be? It's footage from a security camera that captured the state of the immigration area. Should I congratulate you on getting your hands on it? Just letting you know that we're not the only ones watching your every movement. Thank you for the warning. Now, if you could take a good look at this section here. This lump here inside the pushcart, do you know what's causing it? Should I? Because I don't. In that case, allow me to enlighten you. This is the cause of the unnatural lump under the cloth of the pushcart. I guess it's his body. My controller's going nuts. There we go.
Take that.
What is the meaning of showing me that? It's to say that the unnatural bulge in the pushcart is Mr. Cochin's body. You had the steel samurai wheel his body away from the real crime scene. What a guess. I wonder if you have any evidence to support it. I admit that for now it is but a hypothesis, however. If you can't prove it, then I'm afraid I must be on my way. I don't have any more time to play with you people. Hold it! Sorry it took so long, Mr. Edgeworth, sir! Gumshoe to the rescue! Gumshoe. Gummy! Detective Gumshoe. Is that the Steel Samurai's pushcart? Yes, sir! I found it in the open-air stage area, sir. So that's where you went. The detective spirit that Pops left me with? I thought I'd follow my gut and go with it, sir. So, Mr. Edgeworth, is this worth anything to the case? Yes. It just might play a major role in solving this case, detective. But something isn't right. I thought that the entire samurai family was in Alabast. Where exactly in the open-air stage area did you find the pushcart? I found it just lying there at the edge of the stage, sir. Oh, well, let's leave that for now and examine the inside, detective. Yes, sir. Okay. I'm examining inside. Ooh, what's this red stuff? It's blood! This must be Mr. Cochin's blood. Which only goes to prove that Mr. Koshin's body was indeed transported by this pushcart. I believe you understand what this means, correct? You killed Mr. Koshin at this theater and then placed his body inside the pushcart. And then you forced the Steel Samurai to unwittingly move the body for you. I forced him to move the body into Alabast. What nonsense! Why would I bother to do such a thing? You were scheduled to make a speech in Alabast, meaning it was difficult for you to make a stop in Labal. However, what if you moved the body to Alabast? Because it was your embassy, you could keep an eye on it and tamper with the evidence. And then you smuggled it out of Alabast. No! If I can show how you moved the body from Alabast to Babal, then I win. But you can't. The security between the two countries is incredibly tight. I'll be the one to judge whether I can or cannot prove it. And so I ask you to provide us with testimony regarding your movements after you return to Alabast. Miles Edgeworth, have you figured it out? Do you know how the body was moved? To be honest, I have nothing to support my hypothesis at this time. However, I can't believe I've made a mistake in my logic up to this point. Which means there's no question that can't be answered, right? The primitive statue was smuggled successfully through a brief flight through the air. So why shouldn't there be an answer as to how the body was moved? Which means that there must be a logic flaw somewhere I can exploit. Alright, he's going at it again! A fourth time, wow. Movements in Alabast. After I returned to Alabast, I had my picture taken with the Steel Samurai shaking hands. Then, just as I was about to start my speech, the Yatagarasu appeared. I feared for the national treasure, so I raced back to my office. Only 3 statements. Man, that's it. That's short. Is that all? Yes, that's all.
Objection!
It looks like you left out a few things, such as the murder of Damask II. Furthermore, you left out the part about meeting with me in your office. Oh, those trifling matters. I don't believe I need to speak of those things again. I do so hate to waste time. What? Is not every life precious? Do you really need me to answer that for you? People like you cannot be allowed to wander freely through society. Then you'd better try hard, because I doubt you'll find a single contradiction. He's really full of himself, isn't he, Mr. Edgeworth? Yes, he is. How can he be so confident at a time like this? Come, don't be shy. Go ahead and ask whatever you'd like. At least he's not restricting me with penalties anymore. Bloody murderer. Anyway, time to press everything again.
Hold it!
Not much to press, though. So why was it only with the Steel Samurai? I thought the Pink Princess was also around. Pink Princess was suffering from a bad hip at the time, and the doctors recommended that she rest. Wow, so you do have a soft side after all. Pain of a bad hip. I suppose none of you can really understand how it feels. Oh, so you tend to strain your back as well, huh? But isn't that just because you're normally all hunched over? You do need to keep up the act, no matter what, I suppose. The point of this is not to discuss my back problems. For about 15 minutes after our handshake, I was in my office preparing for the speech.
Hold it!
That Yatagarasu was just a trick that you had set up. A most amusing joke. And how do you propose that I set it up? If you really want to know, I can explain it in detail for you. You arranged the spotlights in the rose garden so that when you were to take the stage, the audience would see the Yatagarasu's shadow. Oh, that is an interesting tale. Sadly, it has nothing to do with me. What's it going to take for you to fess up to anything? Very well then. Let's move on to a different question. After the Yatagarasu appeared, what was the state of the rose garden? Everyone took refuge inside the embassy. I even helped with the effort. And then, once everyone was inside, well...
Hold it!
And what happened after you returned to your office? I don't want to keep on repeating this, however. Upon my return, I had that stroke of bad luck and bumped into Mask Man. And I don't want to keep on repeating this either. But his name was Damask, too. Who cares what he was called? By the time he got to the Prima Deck statue that he was supposed to steal, it had already been swapped for the fake. Talk about an unlucky man, being bludgeoned to death with a fake statue. I shall whip anyone who gets in my way. Miss One Karma is really letting her whip fly now. Ugh. I think the scary part is her silence while she's doing it. She must be at the limit of her patience as well. But physical attacks are meaningless here. Only evidence will suffice. Ugh. I can't find a single flaw in his argument. At this rate, I won't be able to prove that he is actually guilty of anything. Are we finished here? Miles Edgeworth, can you not come up with how the body was moved to Babal? Sir! Mr. Edgeworth! Even after proving so much, is he going to get away with it all? Ugh. Is this the end? Hold it! It appears that we made it just in time. It would be a great honor if you would allow us to be your allies in battle. Evil Magistrate, it is time for you to pay. Steel Samurai and Pink Princess. It's the Steel Samurai! No, you're mistaken, for I am Steel Samurai Daddy, married man of New Old Tokyo. And this is Pink Princess Mommy. Edgy-boo! Oh, no! The two people that I wanted to see the least. Larry, what are you two doing here? Way to show your gratitude, Edgy. We just wanted to help. Yeesh. I'm gonna get the bad guy with the samurai slice. Go away. How can you be so mean to us, Edgy-boo? All three of us came to lend a hand, and this is how you treat us? Well, isn't this grand? And I see they managed to find the Iron Infant at last. Does that really matter right now? Hey! Is it just me, or is the Iron Infant completely soaked? Oh yeah. I found him in Babal, but he was in the middle of the pool. Wait a second. Larry, go back to what you just said. Huh? Oh, it appears that we made it. Not that far back. Something about finding the Iron Infant in Babal. And he found it in the pool. I don't recall them having a pool in Babal. Oh, that! Well, I was in Alabas the whole time, so I have no idea how the Iron Infant wound up in Babal. I thought I had lost him in the Rose Garden. But I guess maybe this cute kid can swim, huh? Wait, what? Larry, you lost the Iron Infant in the Rose Garden. Are you sure about that? Yeah, I'm sure. But I found him in... That's enough, Larry. The Iron Infant that Larry just managed to move between the two countries. Furthermore, the Iron Infant was found soaked in the middle of a pool. This is what I've been looking for. It's another smuggling route between the countries. The key to the route the Iron Infant took to travel from Malabas to Babal is the bilateral symmetry. Ah, that's right. This embassy was built with bilateral symmetry in mind. Detective Gumshoe. Yes, sir? There's a location I wish for you to examine post-haste. It is where I believe the route used to smuggle Mr. Cochin's body lies. Does something like that really exist, sir? An embassy built on bilateral symmetry, meaning that this is where we need to examine. Yeah, I can't see that much, but let's check here.
Take that!
Yes, sir, I'll be back before you know it. Go, Gumshoe, go, save the day. It's too late. It doesn't matter now what you do. It's all a waste of time. You will stay here with us and wait. You got that? This is Edgeworth. Mr. Edgeworth, it's here, sir. There's a reservoir here, just like in the Rose Garden. Just as I suspected. What is it? The two sides of the embassy are mirror images of each other, which means that there is also a pool at the corresponding location on the Babali's side. Mr. Cochin's body was moved into Babal through the pool in Alabast. Avoiding the topic with a vague answer like that is unbecoming of a prosecutor. If you don't mind, I'd like to see more physical proof if you have any. The Iron Infant is positively soaked in water. Why do you think that is? It's because he was fished out of a pool. And not just any pool, it was the Baali's one. I think it's pretty obvious at this point what must be true. The water reservoirs in the two courtyards are connected. And where is your proof that the two sides are connected? The proof is right there, before your eyes. The half-drowned Iron Infant. What? This blasted doll! He just threw it or something. Mr. Edgeworth, I'm back! Hey! Don't tell me! You guys figured everything out without me! We did. Thanks to this hero of justice's son. Even if he is just a doll, he managed to help foil the villain. Hey, Mr. Prosecutor. Look, I don't want to say this, but it's kinda unlikely that the body just happened to have passed on through to Babal. This guy's a doll, and he's small, so I can believe it made it, but he has a point. Yes, that's right. I'm glad someone here understands. Mr. Edgeworth, are you going to next propose that a dead body can swim through a pipe? You see, Mr. Prosecutor, our chase after this man is far from over. Agent Lang. Why is he helping Mr. Alba out now? He's not. He raised a flaw in my argument and is helping to move the logic along. In which case, I should return the favor and find an answer. And another thing. Mr. Cochin's body was found in his office in Babal. So what happened to his body after it was transported to the open-air stage? Mr. Alba had an accomplice in Babal, remember? You mean Sheena, right? With her there, you can see how it was possible to move the body up to the office. Are you seriously claiming that she swam through the connecting pipes with the body? He's right. Miss Sheena would drown if she did that. It's hard to imagine that she swam through the connecting pipe. Looks like your hypothesis about how the body was moved is still only half-baked. In the end, it's all just this befuddled musings of an accusatory man. Now then, I believe you should give up and allow me passage. Because from the start, there was no feasible method of transporting the body. What? Mr. Prosecutor, recall Sheena's movements. Let's see. What was happening in the embassy around the time Miss Sheena was in Babal? Ooh! If only there was a way to get rid of the water in the pool. Get rid of the water. Aha! That's it. I have it. Now I believe this time we really are done, right? Wrong. Unfortunately for you, it's far from over, Mr. Alba. You are a most persistent man. Are you saying that you thought of a way to move the body through the water? Move the body through the water. That is completely unrelated to how it was done. Excuse me? The reason I say that is because there wasn't any water there at the time. What do you mean there wasn't any water? Just what it sounds like. The night's events made it possible to drain the water, allowing the body to be moved. Where is the fire? Is it there? Tonight the Yatagarasu set fire to a variety of locations in the Babali's embassy. In order to put the fires out, much of the reservoir's water was used. Of course, when the water was used, the reservoir's water level went down. If enough water was drained, the connecting pipe could be used to traverse the border. So what? The water level went down, the reservoirs were connected. Does any of this matter? You can't prove any of this. Pretending to be ignorant won't work with me. We both know what kind of situation we're in right now. Even in a game, there comes a critical game-changing moment. A moment in which you hit a wall that you must overcome in order to beat the game. I haven't lost yet. I found the route you used to smuggle the body, and that route will lead to your defeat. Even if all the water was used by the firefighting effort, you still can't really call that a smuggling route. I know that. I should have figured that you would notice. Hey, Mr. Alba, how deep are those pools anyway? I'll have you know those pools are extremely deep. And there are no ladders or footholds along our walls either. It would be difficult for Sheena to hold the body and climb up out of the pool. Ladders or footholds along the walls. There was no need for such things. What do you mean? If one were to use a certain something, they could go up or down at the pool, in the pool at will. Oh, it looks like you've got an answer already. Well, what are you waiting for, Mr. Prosecutor? Enlighten us already. way in which Miss Sheena and the body were able to rise up to ground level. If there was a way to control the water level, that could be the way the body was moved. This was used so that the body and Miss Sheena could move up and down in the pool. Where is it? Man, I went way too far. There we go. Fountain spouts. Mr. Alba used the fountain spouts in a manner of speaking. You use the fountain spouts? Huh? What? The water level in the pools can be controlled by opening and closing the spouts. Miss Sheena and the body were lifted upward by their buoyancy in water. The fire on the Babali's side and the firefighting effort. These were set in motion all for the sake of smuggling Mr. Cochin's body. Ugh. Shall I show you where the final destination of my train of logic leads? First, Mr. Elba, close the fountain spouts in advance in preparation of things to come. Then he took the pushcart that was brought to the rose garden and pushed it along with the iron infant and Mr. Cochin's body into the pool. At this time, Miss Sheena was busy conveniently starting the first fire in Babal. He then made for the open-air stage's pool to wait for the firefighting effort to begin. When the firefighters used the water in that pool, the water level went down. And by the time the fire was put out, the pipe between the two pools was exposed. This is when she pushed the pushcart from Alabasta into Babal. Once that was accomplished, Mr. Elba simply opened the fountain spouts once more. And the water level rose up to its original level along with Miss Sheena and the body. After that, Miss Sheena needed the pushcart to carry the body up to the Secretariat's office. There's an elevator in the embassy after all, so you see. Even with her small frame, she could have easily transported Mr. Cochin's body. And that wraps up my thorough explanation of how the body was moved. Ugh. Oh, no! Well, ex-Ambassador Elba, what do you think? Not so untouchable without your precious extraterritorial rights to protect you, are you? I knew you could do it, Mr. Edgeworth. Way to fight back! You accuse me of moving the body across country lines. But when you get down to the nitty-gritty, you don't have what it takes to indict me. The nitty-gritty? What does the old man want now? Proof. I believe it is what he seeks. Yes, proof. Without any, who is to say whether or not any of what you said really happened? He wants proof? What are we going to do, Mr. Edgeworth? There is no need to worry. I've had all the proof we need all along. The body wasn't the only thing to go through the pool's connecting pipe tonight. Just as Detective Gumshoe found the pushcart in the open-air stage area, so too did I find one other item there. And that piece of evidence is what will prove that the pools were the smuggling route. This was another thing that was smuggled over to Babal's open-air stage area. Now it's finally time for the guitar pick. Thingy. Whatever it really is. What exactly is this? You have no idea, do you? This little piece that I found on the Babali's side will be your undoing. The guitar pick. Would you care to explain how that is going to do me in, as it were? Much to your chagrin, perhaps, but this is not a guitar pick. What? This is something I found at the open-air stage, which was transported with the body. I naturally assumed that you would recognize it, since you took a photo with it after all. But since you don't, allow me to fill you in on what I found at the stage actually belongs to.
Take that!
I believe it's a knife. Let us take a good look at the murder weapon that was used to kill Manny Cochin. On the handle of this knife, there is a beautifully blooming flower. However, it would appear that it's missing a single petal. Ugh! Now, let's see what happens when we try to fit this pick in that open slot. Perfect fit. It's a perfect fit! I assume that the petal must have fallen off of the flower during Mr. Cochin's murder, and then it was accidentally placed into the pushcart along with Mr. Cochin's body. That's an interesting story. Nothing more. Oh, I assure you, it's more than just a story. Because for some odd reason, this flower petal was wet when I found it. It was wet, you say? Yes, and the only place it could have gotten wet from is the open-air stage's pool. Now I ask you, how did a part of the weapon which was smuggled into the theater wind up in the open-air stage area on the Babali side of the embassy? I don't think I need to waste any words explaining this, as this puddle explains it all for me. It proves that someone went from the Rose Gardens pool on through into Babal. Impossible! The people of Zhangfa have been waiting to see you face to face, Mr. Alba. I'll tell everyone back home. We'll be there soon. You should be happy. Why? Why? It's a little late to be asking that question. You should have known from the very beginning. When you took your first life, no matter how you may plot or how you may try to cover it all up, you can never hide from your crime and what you've done. Because we're here to see to it that justice is served to people like you. You can't call what you've given a perfect argument. You know, I don't think this guy is going to ever admit to his wrongdoings, Mr. Edgeworth. Because he values himself above all else. People who can't be negotiated with, or people who refuse to admit when they've lost, I don't believe those kinds of people really exist because everyone breaks eventually. You're right. In that case, I have no choice but to use all of the evidence I have. To use it all until he breaks under the weight of his crimes. Mr. Alba, I request that you testify once more. This really will be the end of the line. Yeah, you've been saying that for a while now, Edgy. Anyway, to be continued. Finally. This case is so long. Anyway, I'm your host, Kaylee Iwatari. Please like, subscribe, comment. Let me know what you think. And next time, we'll start finishing up with the very end of this final case. I'll see you then.